Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and it's that time of the week again where we do our tournament roundup. Today we're going to look at the results for Grand Prix Pittsburgh as well as Grand Prix Singapore. These were both standard events, so without any further ado, let's get right into the top 8 for Grand Prix Pittsburgh. Well, here it is, and actually a surprising amount of variety. And I use the word variety loosely because I realize a lot of the aggro decks are very similar, a lot of the control decks are very similar, and a lot of the mid-range decks are very similar. However, at least we're seeing some different builds, and I do appreciate that. We are getting to the point where people are starting to figure out the meta. One thing you're going to notice, though, as we go through these deck lists today, a lot less Dominaria influence, and I think that's just due to the fact that people are starting to figure out where these cards are really good and in what amounts, and you're starting to get past the phase where they're shiny and new and everyone's trying to cram them in everywhere. One thing that might be a little surprising, no copies of Karn in this top 8 at all. That's pretty crazy, but you'll see that as we go through. Even the mid-range decks that typically have been using Karn didn't do so, at least the more successful ones that did well this past weekend. So coming in first place, a deck you're very familiar with, Mono Red Aggro. Second place, Black Blue Midrange. Third place, Red Black Aggro, another one you're very familiar with, I'm sure. Blue White Gift. I was happy to see this perform well. As a matter of fact, this is truly the gift deck from before Dominaria. There are no Dominaria cards in it, which you'll see in a few moments. But for the players that have bought into that deck, I'm happy to see they're getting a little more life out of it now. Coming in fifth place is Blue Black Control. Sixth place, Esper Control. Seventh place, Blue White Control. Eighth place, Red Black Aggro again. So let's look at those top 7 decks, since they are all at least a little bit unique. We'll begin with Bram Thomas's Mono Red Aggro, which won the tournament. As you can see here, nothing shocking here. Still 4 Shocks, still 4 Lightning Strikes, still 3 Abrades. You got your 4 Goblin Chain Whirlers from Dominaria, and as a matter of fact, that is pretty much the big Dominaria card that is influencing the format right now. And here it is, and out of the sideboard, Fight with Fire, which is pretty typical now too. Second place, Blue Black Midrange. You know, Liliana Death's Majesty has been a card that's performed very well in this meta as well as previous metas. A lot of times it flies under the radar. I mean, sure, it doesn't show up in the numbers of, say, Teferi or something like that, but a very solid performer here. Other than that, you see a lot of cards you're probably familiar with from prior to Dominaria. Very little influence from Dominaria actually on this particular build. All they have is 1 copy of Cast Down in the main, and that is it. Everything else are cards that were previously in the format. Third place, Black Red Aggro. Of course, this also came in 8th, or a version of it. And again, nothing too crazy here. You're very, very used to seeing this particular deck list at this point. Goblin Chain Whirler, of course, again making its presence felt. And there's 4 copies, but this is the only card from Dominaria in this entire build. And in 4th place, we have a deck that has no cards from Dominaria. This is the White-Blue Godfarer's Gift deck, like I mentioned earlier. And if you look at this deck list, yeah, it's the deck list from prior to Dominaria, basically. So, like I said, I'm happy to see this deck perform well. More on this one in just a few moments. Now we're getting to the control section of the top 8 with Blue-Black Control. And this is a deck that's going to focus more on the Scarab God. Of course, it doesn't run Teferis or anything like that, considering its color combination. But you do see some cards from the new set, including Blink of an Eye, Syncopate, Cast Down. And in the sideboard, you get the Eldest Reborn, another copy of Cast Down and Fungal Infection. 6th place, we'll mix it up with a little Esper Control. So this time only 1 copy of the Scarab God, but now Teferi's walking in with 3 copies in the main. You're going to find Teferi, Cast Down, and Isolated Chapel from Dominaria here. And the last deck we'll look at from this tournament is White-Blue Control, 4 Teferis here. You get a Gideon of the Trials, 1 copy of that. We haven't seen him doing a whole lot recently, so that's interesting. But you also get the most amount of Dominaria cards that you'll find in any of these decks in the top 8 right here. You get Teferi, you get Seal Away, you get Blink of an Eye, Syncopate, Memorial to Genius. Out of the sideboard, even Lyra Dawnbringer. Okay, let's look quickly at Grand Prix Singapore. Now, a lot of familiar decks here. Basically, most of the decks that we saw at top 8 in Pittsburgh show up here again, which is interesting that they show that level of consistency. Now, coming in first this time is Yuki Ichikawa's White-Blue Gift deck, so actually won the tournament. Coming in second, Esper Control. Third and fourth, Mono Red Aggro. 5th place, Jeskai Control. We'll take a look at that deck list because, yes, I know it's another control deck, but it's a little different than the ones we looked at already. Coming in 6th was red-black aggro. That also came in 8th, and in 7th place was black-blue mid-range. Here's that Jeskai deck, and yeah, is it super different? Maybe not necessarily. Still got like 4 Teferis, but it's main decking 3 Torrential Gearhulk, 3 Whirler Virtuoso. So it is doing some different things here, and yes, it is still a control deck at heart. You still see a lot of the usual cards showing up, Disallow, Search for Azcanta, etc., etc. But at least it's a different spin on it. And you are getting a few cards from Dominaria. Of course, I mentioned Teferi, Syncopates here again. Other than that, though, it's just mana fixing with Clifftop Retreat and Sulphur Falls. Out of the sideboard, you'll find Seal Away. Alright, that's a quick summary of the top 8s from the big events this weekend. But until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.